Displaced Palestinians in the Gaza Strip have begun to go home. Israel, as part of the ongoing ceasefire with Hamas, has withdrawn troops from a road that divided Gaza into two. This is allowing displaced people to return from southern Gaza back to their homes in the north. This is the first time people have been able to return to their homes in over a year. So we are seeing very dramatic scenes today of tens of thousands, perhaps hundreds of thousands of people streaming back on foot, walking along the coast toward their former homes in northern Gaza. We also see some movement of private vehicles moving through checkpoints that are manned by private American security firms. Now, this does not mean that the war is over. This is not an end to the war, but it is an end to the war as we have known it in these past few months. As part of this pullback, Israeli troops are now confined largely to a buffer zone along the border with Gaza. This is allowing the first free movement of Palestinian civilians in over a year. That means that the battlefield will change. Prime Minister Netanyahu has not committed to ending the war. Those talks are expected to begin soon, but it will be much harder when this first phase of the ceasefire resumes after 42 days in early March. It will be much harder for Israeli ground troops to move around and operate as they have for most of this past year. Now, the scenes are very emotional in Gaza. As we see people moving forward, they're returning to what remains of their homes, but in many, if not most cases, there's very little remaining. They are returning back to piles of rubble because the damage from all of this fighting is so extensive. Still, this is an emotional day for Palestinians. It is the beginning of a process, they hope, of returning home and finally being able to rebuild their lives. Now, this is a long process that lies ahead. In fact, the Reconstruction process is going to be a long, difficult, controversial process. Over the weekend, President Donald Trump threw out a suggestion. He says that Palestinians should be evacuated out of Gaza. Most of the territory's population, he wants evacuated to neighboring Egypt or to Jordan to allow that reconstruction process to go forward. The Palestinians obviously have rejected this. They don't want to go anywhere. Egypt and Jordan also giving it a very cool reception. This is a plan that would be very expensive for them. There would be security implications, taking in large numbers of people, and also there is the emotional issue. Both of these countries, like most of the Arab world, are committed to the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. The concern is that this displacement could become permanent and undermine that goal of Palestinian independence. In Israel, the plan has been welcomed by right-wing, hardline Israelis. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has remained silent so far on the proposal. Trump's Mideast envoy Steve Witkoff is expected in the region in the coming days. Netanyahu is expected to be traveling to Washington to meet Trump in the coming weeks. This is one of the issues, the future of Gaza and the reconstruction process and the future of this war. All of these things are expected to be high on the agenda in these important meetings.